everyone and welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make these adorable holiday ornament cake balls. The first thing we need to do is make the ornament caps, and I'm going to do this by kneading out some gray gum paste and then rolling it into a long snake about a ½ inch thick. Next, you'll want to use a really sharp razor blade to cut slices off of the snake. Make sure it's really sharp so it doesn't deform the shape. Once you're done with that, you might want to go through and just check the shapes and make sure they stayed pretty round. Correct them as needed, and I sort of like to smush them a little bit flatter. This part of the process might seem really tedious and time-consuming, but I did 60 at one time and it actually didn't take me very long. Once you get going, you kind of move through them pretty quickly, and it's the tiny details that make these pops so cute. Next, we need to make the tiny little hooks on top of the caps. Don't be scared, they're pretty easy. First, you'll want to roll out a teeny tiny snake and cut about 1-inch sections, and then pinch them into sort of a teardrop loop. I like to smush down the tip just a little bit to flatten it and then cut off the extra. The goal is to make a flat side that we are able to set on top of the caps and have it stand. To help this move faster, you can cut a whole bunch of little strips, pinch them all at once, flatten the ends, and then cut them all off at once also. Again, I did 60 ornament caps, and I think they only took me 30 to 45 minutes. I wanted to make the ornament caps as sturdy as possible because I didn't want to have to be really gentle when coloring them with silver luster dust, so I used gray candy melts to stick the loops onto the caps. I made the gray by adding just a couple pieces of black onto my white candy melts. You can see the hooks had no problem standing up on the caps, partly because of the candy melts and partly because of those flat bottoms that we gave them with the razor blade. Let these set up just a bit and then prepare a bowl with silver luster dust. You'll want to drop these in a few at a time, swirl them around gently, and then use a spoon to remove them. I use my Wilton candy dipping spoon, which is kind of ironic since I didn't use it to dip the cake balls at all. I found a better way to do the cake balls, which you'll see in a minute. The best way that I've found to do cake balls is to do them just like cake pops, only this time I'm inserting some extra skinny skewers into the pops, instead of the normal popsicle sticks that I would use. I've also done this with toothpicks before if you don't have these skewers. If you want to watch a full in-depth video of how I make my cake pops, you can watch my cake pop tutorial video, which I'll link. Using chocolate and vanilla cake, and I chose to do them in 4 different colors: white, green, red, and blue. I organized this all ahead of time on a piece of paper to figure out how many of each flavor to do in which color. After dipping, you'll want to flip the pops over and very gently remove the stick by twisting it super gently and then barely pulling it upwards. If you pull the stick straight up without twisting or too quickly, you'll have a lot of cracking. Next, you'll put a little dab of candy melts directly over the hole and then attach the ornament cap onto the top of that, and it's like nothing ever even happened. Here's a perfect example of the cracking that happened when I pulled the stick out too quickly. I always make some extra pops because I have a few little cake testers that live in my house. But if you didn't have any extra, you could always dip the bottom where the crack is into the candy melts and put that face down. The new candy melt will act as kind of a base to hold it upright. Obviously, it will also cover the crack. I like to display these in small cupcake wrappers so you won't see that there's a base on it anyway. Next comes the most fun part, the decorating. You can really decorate these however you want. I cut out some gum paste snowflakes using my PME snowflake cutters and attached them to some balls with piping gel. In previous times I've piped these on with royal icing, but you could also use white candy melts and pipe them on that way as well. On some of the ornaments, I chose to use piping gel and different kinds of sprinkles and sanding sugar. I will post a link to all of these supplies in the description box below. I love piping, so I decided to pipe some simple lines and designs on my pops as well. I used royal icing. I don't typically use royal icing on cake pops because it seems to just kind of crumble right off the pop. Normally, if I was doing a pop that I would be wrapping, I would use candy melts because it won't go anywhere. But these will be sitting in little cupcake papers in a box, so I wasn't worried about that, and I went ahead and went with the royal icing. Seriously, just go nuts with however creative you want to be with these. I actually packaged these in white cupcake liners, but I used these brown ones that I had on hand just during the decorating process because I have extra hot hands and I tend to put fingerprints in the candy melts. These ornament cake balls really do make the most adorable gifts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much.